Hello everybody, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the yearly recap of what happened, what's gonna happen next and stuff like that. So we just had a year with, very bullish year on Bitcoin, and I thought today that, it is good time to do a recap, see what's gonna happen. What did we learn? Did we learn anything? And stuff like that. As you can see on the chart, there are lines on the chart. We're gonna see how this might unfold and so forth. Now the video is gonna be probably a little bit long, so grab something to drink, and we're gonna check that. It's gonna be in three parts. The first part, we're gonna recap how this year has went. Our predictions, the moons, what do we believe is the case on Bitcoin, and what's gonna happen next. The second part is what's gonna happen next. How do we think that, how do I think this is gonna unfold? How do I think that, what's gonna happen next? Are we gonna go first down, then up? Is this a parabolic move? We're also gonna look at that, and so forth. And the third part of this video is a little bit about the channel. As you've noticed, I haven't been posting that much, just a little bit here and there, but, there are reasons for that, but mostly like what's gonna happen next year. And how that's gonna unfold. So let's just get into it, and the reason we are doing the video today and not tomorrow or the day after is because tomorrow I have a whole bunch of stuff I need to do, and right now I'm a little bit in the mood to talk and make the video. That said, we can start with the first part of the video, the recap of what happened during this year, and what did we learn. So where are we gonna start? Are we gonna start all the way here at the top, or are we gonna start on the new year? So as you see here on the January, on the 1st of January, actually on the 1st of, let's go to the daily time frame over here. On the 1st of January, where is the 1st of January over here? Right, 4 second. On the 1st of January, exactly on the 1st of January, like on the dollar, we started this very bullish move towards the upside. So if you claim that, the charts are not manipulated or anything like that, they are 100% manipulated, pushed down, kept on the price, waiting for exact date and then released, right? But it is good that there is manipulation in the charts, because that's how stuff works. And I always say to the people that do not believe, they always say, it's manipulated, it's this and that. Everything is manipulated. That's how world works. It's just the nature of humans. Assume there is a chart of stones. Me, you, Mladen, Rafael, Garrett, and a couple other guys are buying and selling stones, right? Just regular stones. We are just buying and selling stones, and of course, I want to buy at this price, he want to sell at that price, he wants to buy at some other price, right? So there will be some kind of chart of the stone prices. At one point, I will be start thinking, you know what, I got too many stones, I'm gonna keep the price down by selling. That's manipulation, right? So I can decide what I'm gonna do. Not only that, if I open some kind of ETF, I can short it on that ETF, and then I can be selling my stones, spot towards downside. That's manipulation, and that's just between our, 4 or 5 guys. There is already manipulation on the charts. This is how charts work. There is manipulation. This is why we like charts, because everybody, entire world is in Bitcoin, and they are manipulating the charts, and we can actually see that, right? But understanding how these things works, and that the chart is, a psychological tool to tell us, how market feels about something, it's actually very good for us. So number one, manipulations is normal, it's all over the place, and that's how charts work. So you can see right now that on 1st of January, we started, this very violent move towards the upside. But we gotta go a little bit back before the January and talk about what actually happened before that. So let's find a clean chart over here. This is gonna do. Let's find another clean chart. This is gonna do. This is a very nice chart. And before that, up here, we had the double top on Bitcoin, and we start crashing towards the downside over here. We had a nice little pump over here, but as soon as we start coming down to something like 42k over here, that I said, this should not have happened. And the thing that should not have happened is this move towards the downside over here. We already started saying that, okay, it's pretty much over right now. It's gonna go towards the downside. Over here in this part up here, I was way too bullish, and even towards the upside up here, I thought that there might be chance going towards the upside. But as soon as we did this move up here, and then over here, I was pretty much said that, okay, right now we are going into the capitulation part. Now the capitulation, I did predict pretty decently down here. There was a couple of reasons for that. There were moons, there was super moons on the downside, but there were also there was also the bear flag up here that was telling us that target should be something around 20k up here, not actually down all the way down to the 70k, but around 20k up here. There should be the target. And once we came to that, I actually started buying. So I bought a whole bunch of stuff, altcoins as well. And the lesson I actually learned here is that do not buy after the first capitulation. This is a Bitcoin capitulation, not altcoins capitulation. Because if you look at altcoins, not all altcoins, but most altcoins, they went down here and they continued bleeding towards downside. And this chart up here, this yellow line up here, is very common on a lot of altcoins. Not all altcoins, but a lot of crappy altcoins. They don't even have to be crappy, but a lot of altcoins have this chart that goes towards downside. So even after capitulation up here, I bought altcoins that right now did this move towards downside. And this move down here is like a 50% move down. So I was down at one point, 50-60% down on my altcoin portfolio because I bought at the wrong time. Lesson learned, you can buy, you gotta watch every chart and find where the capitulation on that chart is. Where is the accumulation zone? Because accumulation zones can be a little bit different. This over here is sideways accumulation where we had the spring towards downside. I'm going to talk about that. It can be sideways accumulation, but it can also be a downward accumulation. There is also an upward accumulation part where it actually happens and breaks up here and then continues, right? There are different ways how you can have the accumulation, but on Bitcoin it was sideways accumulation. On altcoins, unfortunately, it was moved towards downside, and this is very normal from what I've seen on altcoins. And the only thing I can right now say that I've learned is that do not buy on Bitcoin capitulation everything else. Every altcoin needs to be looked at by itself and look where the capitulation is, where the accumulation zones are, how it plays out, and then buy based on that. So I think that was one of the big lessons up here. When it comes to accumulation part. So over here on Bitcoin we went towards downside. We pretty much were almost spot on around 20k, and when we was coming over here towards downside, I was pretty very much bullish, and there were two ways this could actually have played out. And the one way is where we just continue this sideways accumulation part up here and just continue towards upside, or a spring towards downside. Now the spring kind of messed me up, because when we were going towards downside over here, I was thinking, yes, finally a spring towards downside, but I was expecting immediate move towards upside and just continue towards upside up here, which did not happen. This spring actually went down sideways and towards upside, but this is also a spring. It's just not a spring on the weekly time frame. You can see up here on the daily time frame this took even longer, a longer time, right? So I was expecting this move up here coming down to this extra accumulation zone over here, and then breaking up here and towards upside. It did not do that. It broke the channel up here over here, and then it just continues very much sideways, manipulated sideways over here, and it did not have a spring that I was actually expecting. Sorry, I went a little bit too far. But if you go to the monthly time frame, you'll see up here that this still was spring. I mean, it was long, very, very long spring, but it was still spring. On two-month time frame up here, it was still, this was the support level over here, and the spring, if you can call it a spring, I mean, it's 2 months spring, but it went down and right back up again bullishly above the resistance level up here. You went down there to retest that support level over here and just continue towards upside. Create a new support level. Right now we're bouncing over here towards upside. But this over here was a spring, but it was a spring on a bigger time frame. It wasn't the kind of spring that people talking about. It goes fast down and right back up again. It can happen on all time frames. Unfortunately, it was on a 2-month time frame, but it was still some kind of I was expecting. I gotta admit, I was expecting fast recovery. There was no fast recovery. So when we came down to this 15 level, 16 level on the downside up here, I was saying that, what, there was no spring. Maybe, just maybe, we are gonna go down to 10k, and that was a real probability. The other thing that I learned over here is that when I am in maximum fear, when I believe, and I'm gonna tell you why, because once we get over here, you will understand why. When I'm in maximum fear, that's probably some kind of button, because if I feel fear, the guy that can actually read the charts, there are so many people who cannot read the charts that actually feel that fear like tenfold harder. So when we were down here, and I was actually thinking that this might actually drop towards downside, unfortunately, you know, we just bounced right back up there again. But and in retrospect, up here, you can see up here there was a very nice, you know, accumulation zone up here, just like on altcoins are. But we broke this support level on the downside. We came into this box up here. We're going to talk about boxes as well. We came right back up here again. So I did not expect this move down here into this box, although this box is right now, the way I see it and the way we analyze the chart now, was the premium, you know, way to get Bitcoin down here at 15K, because there was a support level up here, and you'll see in a lot of altcoins the same thing actually happens. You'll see altcoins go towards downside up here, something like that. There will be some kind of line over here. Maybe altcoins are bleeding towards downside, and you will see the breakdown of the support level. But this breakdown of the support level is not actually breakdown of the chart where it just continues dumping towards downside, because you're already down something like, you know, 90% on the chart, or 99% for some coins, and then you break the support after that extension towards downside. This is actually a very, very bullish move, because this capitulation move up here where you get into this box on the downside, where you accumulate below the support level, where everybody becomes extremely bearish, and then you come just right back inside over there, get out of the channel and continue towards upside. So these boxes below the support levels after the capitulation are very, very important. So that was another lesson for me. At least it's when once you have some kind of very established, you know, support level that you think, okay, this is gonna hold, and you break that towards downside after already being down like 90-80%, and you're already in some kind of accumulation zone. You can expect that this over here, this box, as long as it holds, might just be the box, the accumulation zone that's gonna push you towards the upside. So that was a good thing. And right now we can also see that on a lot of altcoins, this box is actually played out. So if you watch altcoins right now, if you look at the chart, I would say 90% of altcoins right now, since October, September, exploded towards the upside. And if you look at the chart very closely, you'll notice that October, September, there was so many boxes, which we did not see. And I regret right now, because over here, right over here, October, September, when Bitcoin was just before doing this, you know, FOMO move towards upside up here, we're gonna talk about that. Altcoins were sitting down in the boxes, and there was so many good buys. Like if you go right now and check it out, there was so many good buys. The other thing that actually happened up here when altcoins was sitting in these boxes, let me just take you know, random chart up here. This is Polkadot. Let's just remove it up here. And this is Polkadot, and September, October, that's down here. You can see up here there's a very, you know, very established zone of support down here. And you can see up here, as soon as we broke that support, September, October, this was the golden place to buy altcoins. Of course, every altcoin after that did, you know, 2, 3, 4x, 5x, 100%, 10x, some did 10x. But most altcoins that had this kind of consolidation on the downside, they went through this very major support level, got into this zone up here and exploded towards the upside after that. But these boxes you can find literally like on most, not on every, but most. Some had, you know, just, you know, weak down or some breakage of the support. But this breakage of the support after capitulation, accumulation, and this is the last part where we get into these boxes. I failed to notice the boxes. I did not know about the boxes. And right now, you know, that's one of the biggest regrets this year, that you know, I failed to notice when altcoins went down into the boxes. Not only that, I did know that, you know, we are very, very close to the bottom on altcoins, and I was saying that altcoin season needs to happen anytime soon. If you remember, Benjamin Coleman has been, you know, during October, September, he was very, very bearish on altcoins. He was posting video, he was going to other channels, he was saying that altcoin reckoning is gonna come. He used the word reckoning. And we had a couple of live streams, and I was saying, like, how much are altcoins gonna get wrecked? There is no way you can wreck altcoins anymore. They're down like 99%, right? Unfortunately, for me, I did not notice, I did not, you know what, it's only when things started, you know, pumping and going up like 100-200% that it was, and you go and look stuff in retrospect that you understand what actually happened, right? So the reason we are looking, you know, this year in retrospect is to see if we can actually, you know, understand a little bit more about the charts, what we did good and not. So that was the you know, major support, major accumulation for Bitcoin. I mean, any kind of, you know, 25k level all the way down to, you know, 18k down here. This is the major accumulation zone. This over here is just the, you know, the premium, the cherry on the cake accumulation zone for the very best of the best of the best. So if you bought down here at 15, 16k, 17k down here, you are the very best. You are the very best, because, you know, buy when the blood is, you know, when there is blood on the floor, right, on the streets. So this is the very best. So of course we pumped up here towards the upside, and there was my first sell came up here. And the reason I actually sold is because I said I need to know what I'm gonna be able to. I need to know where I'm gonna be able to sell the top. So the thing is, once this starts pumping towards upside in 2025, there will be some kind of top. We will have to sell, and we need to find that top. So over here, I actually sold some of my coins, and of course it went down. And it was good sell, and I told everybody I need to know whether I'm doing a good thing, whether I can actually find the, you know, tops and bottoms and stuff like that. Which was actually nice. Unfortunately, it just started pumping towards the ups, and I again FOMO'd up here again, back in the trade. So I did not lose anything or stuff like that, but it did teach me that that when there are very clear signs of patterns, and there was a very clear sign of pattern up here. This is I don't know what I want to call this. This when you get about, you know, you get this curvature up here where the price, you know, distributes, you go down, then you do this move towards upside up here above these previous levels, and the reason you do that is to, you know, get all of these shorters wrecked, and once you get shorters wrecked, you know, price just pulls right back down again. Now this did pull back down again, but it, you know, it went again very fast the previous levels, because this was just very start, but the pattern actually played out very nicely. It, you know, it would have been a very nice trade. Unfortunately, it wasn't what I was actually expecting. I was expecting maybe we're gonna go again towards downside, maybe it's gonna take a longer time. It did not do that, and we explode towards upside. I bought back up here again, and, you know, the lesson up here might be that when the bull run starts, it's not over until it's over, and any dump needs to be bought. So, you know, as long as the bull run is in full effect until 2025, the dips are for buying. And that was very evident over here, although I did suffer from post-traumatic stress syndrome of the bear market, right? Bear market gets, everybody thinks that any kind of pump is just gonna get dumped again towards downside, because that is what bear market does to you. You pump, you dump, you pump, you dump, you pump, you dump, right? I mean, any kind of small pump get just wrecked, right? So on the first move towards upside up here, any kind of pump just gets wrecked. So you know, we all suffer from post-traumatic stress syndrome, PTSD, or whatever it's called, and people just cannot believe that this is gonna go towards the upside. This is gonna go towards that, but this was the accumulations on Bitcoin. Right now, everybody can actually see that there is absolutely zero people believing that this was not accumulation zone. While we were down here, and we are telling everybody, or while we're down here, I was telling everybody that this is the accumulation zone. This is the start of the bull market. Over here, this is not start of the bull market. The bull market doesn't start when you break the previous high. The bull market starts when you get into the accumulation zone. So this over here is accumulation zone. This is just a move towards the upside, and then at the end you get, you know, that distribution zones, and this is the end of the bull market, right? So if you go up here, let's find another chart over here. If you go over here, right, in the previous move, you know, people would say that this move over here is the bull market, right? This is not the bull market. That's just the last part of the bull market. And this is still the case. The bull market starts up down here. The bull market starts in the accumulation zone, where it starts going towards upside. Even though you go sideways up here, this is the accumulation zone, markup, secondary reaccumulation zone, and the last part of the bull market, right? But the entire thing up here, entire thing is the bull market, and it starts on the very bottom. That's where it starts. So the bull market is gonna last for a while, but this last part is what we call the FOMO move, the suckers move, the move where everybody FOMOs in and you get some kind of top and you go back down again, right? That is the last part of the bull market, right? But the bull market started down here. We are already in bull market. We've been in the bull market since June 2022. And we've been doing well, right? So we are already in the bull market, and that's a very important thing to know. And the same thing goes for when you get into the bear market. The bear market comes when the parabolic move up here ends. So over here started the bear market. Even though we came to the previous high up here, entire part of up here, you know, the bear market was already in full effect. This is also important to note, because if you invert the chart up here a little bit, if you invert the chart a little bit over here, you'll see that the bull market, the bull market ends once you start, you know, breaking the trend. So this trend wasn't broken all the way up here, actually over here, right over here. This is where the bull market ended, at 57k. Once you break the trend, because this was a parabolic move up here, and once you break the trend, we retest the trend and we went towards downside, right? This is actually where bull market ended, and we entered the bear market. So even though we went a little bit towards upside up here, you know, entire part up here, all the way to this zone over here, this was over here the bear market, right? So if you turn around this again, the entire part up here is the bear market. Over here, all the way towards downside up here, towards the capitulation up here. This was the bear market. So you have the bull market up here, which starts down here, and they have an entire thing is the bull market. And the same way you have the entire thing that's actually the bear market. So, so the thing that we are expecting right now is from this bottom down here, where the bull market started, all the way to 2025, a little bit up there, May, August. This over here is the bull market, and you can see right now we are halfway through that. Now we still don't have mainstream with us, we don't still have retail with us, but we are in the bull market. This is what we call the bull market. Now unfortunately people are only starting to notice right now that we are above 32k up here at this top, that we are in the bull market, and then people saying this is gonna go up. Yes, it's gonna go up, and we still believe that, and there doesn't seem to be any kind of, you know, obvious stop up over here, but you know, eventually 2025 plus, you know, we're gonna get to some kind of top. And how this gonna play out, this is still, you know, for the second part of the video, but right now let's go back and see how this actually plays out. So we end the bull market. This first move towards upside, nobody actually believed it. We had the second move up here towards upside, and then we came to some kind of 30k levels, and we thought this is gonna break towards upside. We had a prediction from Laden that the top is gonna be around 46k. It comes from several lines. My lines for the 46k go something like this over here. Where is it? Something like this up here, and you'll see that up here, you know, it is 46k level. This 46k level, his lines goes from the yearly time frame. If you go to the yearly time frame, 12 months, you'll see that 46k sits exactly at the top of our up here. That's 46.2k, and both are equally correct. And you can see up here that we came right now very, very close to those levels, but you know, our target has been, you know, up here at 30k to 46k. Now there was a couple of times where I once again went into max fear and thought that, you know, for whatever reason we're gonna dump towards downside. The first time was down here, right before we dropped down here. On the second time was over here actually, where I thought, okay, if we're gonna drop more, it's gonna happen up here. It did not, we just exploded. And the third time was over here, where is exactly over here. And the reason for that is because this was 14 October 2023. If you remember, I said 14 October is the dump date. It was a new moon, it was a solar eclipse, and at this time we still believed in the moons. We still believed that, you know, for whatever reason moons pump, and you know, new moons dump, and full moons pump, and there are super moons, and there are these kind of moons, and all of that kind of shebang. Unfortunately, exactly on the 14 October we did not dump. The dump date did not dump, we actually exploded towards the upside. And this was the date where I said that if we're gonna dump, it's gonna happen right now, and that was very, very close. And I was thinking that if it's gonna dump, it has to go now. It did not do that, we explode towards the upside. So the lesson here is we are no longer, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately for somebody, we are no longer believing in the moons. So there will be no more, you know, full moon, you know, new moon, super moons, these Superman moons down. I mean, from time to time they might be, but we are no longer looking at the moons to tell us where the price is gonna go. We believe in the charts, we believe in the lines, in the channels, in the patterns. So we're not gonna look at the moons that much anymore. Unfortunately, all the fate from the moons have gone through the, you know, out of the door, and the moons are no longer with us. But the target was 46k for several reasons over here. And you can see up here right now we came to 44k. We're still not at 46k. So is this gonna happen up here that we came to comes to 46k or not? That depends to be seen. But oftentimes when when there is some kind of major level that everybody looks at, like 46k or 48k, you come very close to that, but you never tap that level because everybody is looking at that level to short. So you come very close and then you short from those levels. Can we do a spring up here towards the upside? Maybe we can. The other thing that happened on the chart is the FOMO move that everybody, that we are actually expecting. So we said that up here, this is gonna be the FOMO move, and that is the last move. So down here, this wasn't the last move. We explode up here, a second time up here, but there was no FOMO moves. And I kept telling people, nobody bought this pump all the way up to 32k. Nobody. And when I say nobody, I mean everybody who does not watch the charts, right? Because they not know how to read the charts and the pumps are so fast. So if you look at a chart like this over here, this pump up here was so fast, nobody could buy that. And then, it went a little bit up here, but, it mostly just went down. Then the second pump, that was this pump up here. Nobody bought that. It was so fast pump. So fast. And then it went just, a little bit towards upside and then it moved down. And this was the third pump up here. And nobody bought that as well. And you can see how fast these pumps are. They are extremely fast. While bleeding is very slow, the pumps are very, very fast. And this was the fourth pump. But once these three pumps happened up here, I kept telling people that nobody bought yet. There is no FOMO yet. People are building up the FOMO, but we are not quite there yet. So what needs to happen? We need to have some kind of move up after this one of these kind of pumps, where the people will have no other choice but to FOMO in. And that is actually what happened up here. We had this extreme pump above the major levels, 30 to 32k levels towards the upside. And right now over here, nobody had any kind of chance to not buy. So what happened up here, and if you've been watching closely other YouTubers, technical analysis and stuff like that, you will see that they have been looking at this, what's called an exhaustion pattern. So you have a big impulsive move, and instead of having a bull flag that goes towards the downside, you have exhaustion flag that goes towards the upside. These exhaustion patterns are very, very bearish in any kind of normal sideways movement or in any kind of bearish, bear market. They break towards downside like 60-70% of the time. It's very, very normal for them to break towards downside. But this move over here had to break towards the upside because we had to get the FOMO, right? So once we actually did this move, this fast, speedy move that nobody was expecting, even I, toward 14 October, thought that if this is gonna drop, it needs to drop now towards downside. We had have to have this FOMO move towards upside. Once we broke the 32k, we got this FOMO move, and this FOMO move created this exhaustion pattern towards the upside up here. And the exhaustion pattern, even though if you've been following closely other channels, they are seeing this, a rising channel. Everybody was talking about this, after seeing these moves up here, big pump down, big pump down, big pump down, the only thing that everybody was concluding that big pump is gonna go down. And it didn't do that. Why? Because the FOMO is right now in full effect. This is it. It pumped up. Everybody thought it's gonna go down. It didn't. It continued pumping up here. There was so much liquidity because there is no other option for everybody else. There is no other option but buy because they are missing out. You're missing out on 40k. It's gonna go to 50. It's gonna hit 50 now. 60 soon. 70. All-time high. They have no other choice but to buy the FOMO move. You don't want to be the guy. That's why you're watching me, this channel, right? You don't want to be the guy that buying the FOMO move towards the upside. But it is unfortunately FOMO move. And what's happening right now, we are right now transitioning to the second part of the video, where we are going to talk about what happens next to Bitcoin. How do we believe this is going to play out in, to 2025. So this FOMO move up here, as you just saw, there is the level up here at 46k. And we believe that, it's gonna get hit. It does not get hit because it is very, very close. It's only 2k away from the, right now 4K away from the 46K, but you know, we have been there. There is no reason again to touch this on the top side up here. Not only that, right now Bitcoin is actually creating this double top up here. You can also see this as some kind of, you know, consolidation up here, you know, channel that actually might actually continue towards the upside. But we are in the FOMO move, and the FOMO move, unfortunately, they do dump towards the downside. So if I do see some kind of pump towards the downside, I will still be more bearish than bullish. Now, why is that case? But this is only the short term, because I believe that everybody who bought up here, in the FOMO move needs to get wrecked. So the weak hands need to sell, the paper hands need to sell, people need to get into the fear, and then we go towards the upside. If you look at the previous moves, these were actually 20% dumps. Every single time we had a dump towards downside over here. These are 22% dump from the top to the bottom up here. That was the 20% dump from the top over here to the bottom down here. That was 21%. So we have had these 20% dumps. Are we gonna have another one of these 20% dumps? That will get us back to 35K, and of course all of these people that, you know, bought below the channel up here are gonna get wrecked. Not only that, everybody who bought up here and were hoping for the move, they're gonna get in break even. Maybe we get some kind of spring up here, some you know, 30% move towards downside, and then go towards upside. And I think this move, although it does not have to happen, it would be very, very good for the price of Bitcoin for a next move towards the upside. Just like back here in the startup here, in the very accumulation zone, I was calling for a spring. Now this spring, like we said, you know, used very, very long time to bounce, but I was calling for the same reason. You want people in fear, you want to buy the blood on the streets, you want to buy when everybody sells, because right now there is a whole bunch of liquidity below these levels, right? Below, right now, over here, below the 40K levels and below the 33K level down here, there's a whole bunch of liquidity to pick up. So if you want to make some, you know, major big long positions and stuff like that, you need liquidity to do that. And the only way to get liquidity is to get into liquidity zone, get everybody in the fear, and then move towards the upside. All the way down here and then move towards the upside. You want to pick up that liquidity to actually move the price higher, which is actually very, very necessary for the price. So right now that everybody's, you know, start FOMOing. Now, when I say everybody, I do not mean the mainstream. You know, your grandma and granddad are still not quite there. They are thinking about it, but you know, no, they're not quite there yet. Just like in the previous bull market up here, you know, we went up here and you think that this is over, it's gonna go towards downside. Just like the last time over here, when we went up to the, you know, to 40K up here, and everybody was thinking, oh, this is a, you know, your grandma and granddad and your co-workers and all of these people that do not understand or usually don't invest, they were like, nah, it's gonna go down again. It's only after that, up here at the top, this is where they're FOMOing, right? So the people who actually FOMOed in over here, it wasn't your grandma and granddad and your sister and brother and your co-workers and, you know, kids around the block. It was only the crypto mainstream, because there are two types of people, the way I see it in crypto. There are people in crypto who know how to read the charts, that would be us. And there are the people in crypto who do not know how to read charts, that would be everybody else. That would be like the mainstream for inside the crypto, right? And that's a very small, but they don't know how to read the charts, they know what's happening, but they do know that it's very, very bullish. So these are the first people that FOMO in, right? They will still get some kind of money, but you know, they're the first people to FOMO in. Over here, that's the way I see it. This is where right now the crypto mainstream is FOMOing in. And around 2025 up here, that will be where your, you know, everybody else FOMOs in. That's when newspapers write about Bitcoin. That's when everybody buys Bitcoin. That's when everybody thinks that Bitcoin is going to go to, you know, 500,000 or 250,000 or something like that, crazy numbers. That's the top of the bull market, right? We are not quite there yet. But over here, this is just the crypto pump, which is actually very, very good for us. But I still believe that right now we need some kind of pullback over here, maybe a little bit more down. We need to get back below the 40K levels, maybe even down to 35K levels down here, to pick up that liquidity, get everybody into the fear, and then move towards higher ups. So if you look at the chart over here, I got some very nice lines up here. This is what we've been looking at, and this is what I've been looking at. I need to continue saying this is what I've been looking at. This is my projection of what I think is gonna happen. There are a couple of channels here. This first channel I already show you, that's the 46k level. This box up here is a horizontal resistance level on the big time frames. There's this box up here between 58 and 60k is the horizontal level on the big time frames. When I say big time frames, I mean like a weekly, monthly time frame. Over here you'll see up here on the monthly time frame, these are the levels up here at the top and down here as well. Those are the big time frames that we keep on following. Just go a little bit back up here. And right now we're coming to this first major level of resistance. It will be eventually broken, and the big question right now is how is this going to play out. So there are a couple other lines up here on the chart. The blue line, and then of course the bottom channel up here is just doubling of the top channel. So you got a top channel, you can always double that towards downside. You can see up here very nicely we had this very nice line over here, and then we broke that line towards downside. This was actually the major capitulation. My theory was this over here is capitulation, and then accumulation starts, but over here this is ending capitulation of the capitulation of the capitulation move, right? And we came back up here, we continue up here on the bottom, and right now we went to the top of the channel up here. So something is gonna happen up here. Something's gonna happen up here, something like this, then we're gonna break that, come to up the 60k level, and only after we break the 60k level, the same thing is gonna happen just like when we broke the 30k level over here. So just like we said over here in the back a little bit, that after 30k, this is the FOMO move. The same kind of FOMO move is gonna happen after 60k. So previous highs up here, 60k. Once we break the 60k towards upside, this is the big FOMO move, right? This is where this is the place where your grandma, granddad, your brother and sister, co-workers, kids around the block, your prime minister buys Bitcoin. This is the top. This is the FOMO move, right? This is FOMO move, and you can see already right now that this FOMO move goes all the way something like 90k. It could be lower than that, between 80 and 90k, give or take. But this is the FOMO move. Once we start breaking this towards upside, this is the FOMO move. But what's going to happen from right now where we are up here until we get to the FOMO move? When are we going to get to the FOMO move up here and break this towards the upside? It's only after we break the resistance level. So we could do a couple of things up here. But the FOMO move is above the 60k level. So you don't want to be the guy that buys above the 60k, because that's the sucker's move. That's the FOMO move. That's the move where liquidity enters the market and the big players start selling. The pullback down here could be down to 30k, could be down to something like 40k, but the pullback is only for this move over here. And what I believe that the reason for a pullback, we need to have that pullback, is so that we can get the weekends out. Now there is few ways this can actually play out. The first way is we have what's called exhaustion pattern accumulation. So we go towards upside down, up down, up down. So we are zigzagging. This is the halvening, just like over here. This was the halvening, and after halvening, everything pumps towards upside, of course. But this is the halvening. But we could have zigzag in an upward trend, which could be actually very bad for a lot of people who are trying to sell the tops and buy the bottoms, right? Because they believe that once we hit right now this major level of resistance, it's gonna go down somewhere here, and then then they can buy back at 20k. I don't believe that 20k is possible right now. I believe that there are two ways they actually can play out. Actually, three ways, but let's say two ways. The first way is like we just saw, exhaustion pattern up here, big move, impulsive move, exhaustion pattern, and then you come up here. You break the trend, you go up here at 60k, pull back, consolidate, and again towards upside. Of course, once we start going towards upside, it's not gonna take long time. It's gonna go a lot faster. It's gonna go something like this up here towards stop, because these last move, they are very ballistic and go very fast. But it goes something like this. So we can zigzag in an upward direction, right? You come to some kind of resistance, you pull back. Come to some kind of resistance, you pull back. Just like over here, right? You had this upward trajectory, and just before the last move, just before this last move that goes up to 90k, there will be, I think, some kind of vent or some kind of dump, some kind of spring, some kind of fear in the market that's gonna push us towards the upside. It's been the case for most of the time. And over here it was the this Corona dump down here, just before that. But it was this, you know, move down here, consolidation, and then pull back. Up here in 2014, it was a little bit different. This was actually out of the accumulation zone, this accumulation zone. So you had this big dump and then, you know, explode towards the upside. But you can see after every, you know, this way you could say this is first move outside of the accumulation zone. And the first FOMO move for the crypto and the pullback, big spring. And then, you know, it went above that. And this is where the mom and pop started buying and stuff like that, right? And then it went a little bit higher than that. And, you know, every time it pulls back very, very hardly, very sharply. This was like 30-40% dumps on the downside. Is this going to be the case, you know, with 30-40% dumps towards downside? I mean, once we are, you know, establish these levels up here at 40K, I do believe there are probability that we can have like 40% dump. So you go up here to 50K and you dump down something like 30% down to 35K again. Very, very sharply, very fastly, because the higher you climb, the more volatility you get into the market, right? The more volatility. Let me just go a little bit back up here and clean a couple of lines up here. Why cannot I see the lines? There we go. The higher you go, the bigger volatility should be. So if these were, you know, 20% dumps, the next dump should be like 30-40% dumps towards downside. And there is this case for why this can actually be a parabolic move towards the upside. And parabolic moves have a very clear, distinct pattern. They do not break the trend. They break the trend, but they break the trend towards the upside. And as soon as the trend is broken, the parabolic move is over and it's game over. That's going to happen in 2025. But if this is a parabolic trend, let's go to another chart up here that's very clear and nice so we can draw a little bit up here. It should go something like this. And there is a reason why we draw it like this up here. But this was the first trend, right? This was the first trend. You can actually draw the, you know, channels up here because, you know, the channels are trends. And let's go over here, pick something like this. This is the first trend. So it started going zigzag over here. This was the first trend, and then increased that speed towards the upside up here. It increased the speed towards the upside up here, but still not breaking the trend. Where is it? Let's draw it something like this up here. From over here, it went down up here. It looked like it broke the trend over here and came right back in the trend and explode above that trend line again. So you got you got this trend that is increasing in speed, and that's it. That is the sign of a parabolic move. I think it's gonna be better. I think it's gonna stand better if we draw it like this over here. And then go from the something like this up here, give or take, right? But this is the parabolic move, right? The parabolic move that does not break the trend. So this is the very start. You can have these fake outs on the downside, but it does not break the trend. Fake out, fake out, fake out, right? But it keeps the trend going and continues going towards the upside, right? And these are not actually very steep trends. These are very, very soft trends. And right now we are expecting this trend to increase in speed. So it's not gonna do this move up here. It's gonna do a faster move towards upside. That's why I don't think we're gonna go back below something like 34, 35K, because if this is a parabolic move, it cannot go back down here to 30K, right? If this is a parabolic move, this trend up here, it's gonna create some kind of line up here. I don't know where that line is gonna be, but it's gonna create a new line, and there is gonna be a new trend towards upside, a faster, steeper trend. And this is how we know it's a parabolic move, because you have first accumulation phase, you got second trend, you got a third trend up here, and then you got a, you know, where mom and dad buys, right, up here. So you got this other trend up here, there is some kind of move up here, and then you have, then you're breaking even that towards the upside, which is very, very hard because these lines are getting steeper and steeper. But this parabolic move up here will break the trend, and eventually up here somewhere at the top there will be another even steeper line, and once that steeper line is broken, it's pretty much over. And you can see this, the same thing happen up here. Even though it does not look up like a parabolic move, it was a parabolic move up here on the bottom side. This was the first trend up here, and it increased the move up here, somewhere up here. It increased the move towards the upside and just kept increasing the speed towards the upside, right? The speed just kept increasing towards upside. The lines get steeper and steeper. You can see up here it gets steeper and steeper. Even this line up here gets steeper and steeper. But as soon as the trend actually over here breaks, we try to retest that, we fail that, and then you break even the second line up here, it's pretty much over. That's why I'm saying the bull market ended over here once we broke the trend. So this was up here, the last part, we broke that towards downside, and you know, this parabolic move that was having these increasing trends towards the upside eventually breaks, you fall through that, and then it's pretty much game over, right?
So if this is a parabolic move, the trend is your friend, and the parabolic move should continue as long as the trends are kept intact, right? So if you assume these are the trend lines over here, we can say this is the trend line, doesn't matter right now. This trend, as long as the trends are kept intact, it cannot go below this line right now. So we see right now that if it's parabolic move, it cannot go below 30k down here. I mean, it can go a little bit down here, but you know, it should not go below 30k. The trend over here should keep in line. Not only that, it should increase the speed, because this trend line over here is actually a channel, give or take, something like this up here, right? This over here is actually a channel, and once you break the channel, you increase the speed. So right now we know that the speed has increased, so we are no longer following this line over here. What we are actually following is a new line that we do not know where it is. That's why this pullback up here is very, very important, because the pullback, once it happens, once we have the pivot point, it's gonna tell us where the trend is. How steep are we pumping? Where the supports are? How much are we pumping? And these trends cannot be broken, because once these trends are broken, it's pretty much over. If it's parabolic move, it could be something else that's not parabolic move. But if it is parabolic move, it was parabolic move in 2017. It was a parabolic move in 2021. And if it's parabolic move right now, the trend should not break. We should get a new line, but this line over here should not break. This line over here should not break. So right now I'm thinking we cannot go back below 30k, because everybody would want to buy Bitcoin below 30k. But some kind of big dumps, fast dumps, 30-40% move towards downside, that is what I'm expecting, right? There was another thing that I want to show you, and that was let's go back to this chart over here, the lines. So we just said that that one of the cases for why this should go towards the upside is that there is a very nice trend line up here. So it just follows the trend line, the resistance level, just zigzag before it actually breaks towards the upside, hits the resistance, maybe have some kind of consolidation, maybe not, maybe just breaks up here and goes all the way up to 90k. But we are expecting this actually move right now to go a lot faster after a halving. If you look previously how the halving actually played out, we did this, you know, explosive move to 14k a whole way back than we are right now. So this move over here was something like this up here. How many weeks is that? We are on the, sorry, we are 2-day chart. Let's go to the weekly chart. And from the halving up here, can you see that? Yes, halving to the top up here, that's 46 bars, 46 week. And now from the, if you go from the halving back up here, that's 55 bars, 46 bar, 45 bars. Exactly on the top. So this top over here is this top over here. So this happened already happened. You can see right now that we are not playing the same game again, because this went a little bit down over here. You know, over here we're expecting kind of, you know, move down up here onto the halving and then go towards upside. That did not happen. So we are no longer having any kind of play like previous times. It's a different ball game, and it is gonna play out differently. But over here, this was the same kind of top at the same time frame, same kind of top. We pull back a little bit, pull back. Now there is this theory that I had in 2019. My theory in 2019, this was over here because we pulled back, and my theory was that this is just going to continue pumping towards upside. And if you disregard the Corona dump over here on the downside, it did look like this is going to continue towards the upside. We just, you know, we had a week up here, we came back to the same levels and just continued dumping. So my theory was correct. After this level up here, it's only up from there, right? It's only up from there. My theory was that over here, this is where the last part of the bull market started. And you can see up here, these lines up here are exactly the same distance from the blue line like over here. And you can see right now, we have crossed that line again. So is it only up from here? And I do strongly believe that that might be the case. I do not believe that for whatever reason we have to dump down back down to 20k. Because like I explained to you just right now, parabolic moves do not break the trend towards downside and go up again like crazy. The parabolic trends go up into very, very steep moves, and then eventually they break up and they go down, right? So up here, could we have some kind of move down up here into, you know, consolidation until the halving? That might be the case, but you know, how that consolidation is going to play out, that's the thing. So the one way we can actually play out this is zigzag pattern. The second way is downward trend, right? Zigzag towards downside. So you can have a bull flag up here that plays something like this up here. Unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna be a bull flag, because bull flags are a very common pattern for any trader. And any trader see this bull flag, they know, oh, it's gonna go towards the upside. Yeah, it's gonna go towards the upside, but we don't want everybody to know it's gonna go towards the upside. We want everybody to be bearish and thinking this is gonna drop and then go towards the upside, or even do a spring up here and then go towards the upside, right? Because oftentimes before very big moves, stuff happens that's very, very bearish and then breaks towards the upside. So you have some kind of very bearish pattern like rising wedge, and then you break that rising wedge towards the upside instead of downside. That gets everybody, you know, a little bit off guard, and everybody's like, oh my god, how could that happen? And there is a saying that I have: do not underestimate the bullish trend. Bull trends pull back, but pullbacks are deep buying opportunities. And once it starts pumping, do not underestimate, because I've seen before, and I did a lot of mistakes on bullish trends. You will see something like Solana or Inge, or in previous bull market Matic. Every single indicator is telling you this is overbought, this is overextended. There is no way. Everybody FOMO'd in, who is gonna buy? And it just keeps on pumping. So look at the lines. Trend is your friend. If the trend is not broken, it's not over. If there are no clear, you know, topping out patterns, it's not over. This is not a topping out pattern. I can tell you right now. A triangle, a big move with a triangle at the top is not a topping out pattern. Could we have right now moved up to 60k and then have a big pullback into the halving? That could also be the case, because the pattern right now that's telling us right over here, the triangle pattern, this is not a topping out pattern. And you know, every single time we pumped up here towards the upside, I've been saying these are not topping out patterns. Price doesn't pump and then go sideways. This is not a topping out patterns. Topping out patterns are like they go up there. You have distribution pace. You get some kind of on bigger time frames, but this small triangle up here is not a topping out pattern. It might be, you know, distribution. It might pull back, but it's not topping out pattern. It's not the topping out pattern for the entire thing. So it's not over. We are just getting started. Yes, we are consolidating. Yes, we might pull back like 20-30%, like we said, where the fear gets into the people, and people start selling, and everybody thinks, yeah, it's over. But it's not topping out pattern. And I for 1 second don't believe it is a topping out pattern. There is nothing that says it's topping out pattern. So what it is then? Well, it's a consolidation. It might be this consolidation over here. It might be smaller consolidation before we break the 46k level, and then you know, you can go up all the way to 60k and then pull back over here into the halving, and then, you know, towards the upside again, breaking the 60k level up here towards the upside, and then towards stops. So this is how I believe the next part is gonna play out. Either some kind of consolidation over here, breaking up here as consolidation up here, but there during these moves there will be big dumps. And again, the dumps are buying opportunities. Dips are for buying as long as the trend is not broken. But this is how I think it's gonna play out. Now, how high can we actually go, and when is this actually gonna happen? Well, considering that considering that after halving, give or take, you know, between 47 and 78 bars, there is some kind of top, and you can also check out previous years, but, you know, give or take 47 bars after halving. That's 47 bars. That's over here. 47 bars. That's over here, and give or take, and 70 bars. What do we say? 70 something bars up here, right? 70 bars. October 2025. I mean, this is give or take. So after the halving, we can actually make the box up here. This is where I believe the top is gonna hit, you know, somewhere around, you know, March, April, May, give or take, all the way up to October, November, December, give or take. It depends on how long it takes, but this is where I think some kind of top up here is gonna happen, right? So if this over here is parabolic move towards the upside up here, right, it might go something like this up here, where it goes up here towards top and then, you know, breaks towards downside eventually, right? Or it might do something like this very fast up here. It might actually come even sooner than that. But, you know, right now I believe, and, you know, it really doesn't matter when the top is gonna get in, because we're gonna keep on following the lines, the trends, the parabolic move, and we're gonna look for when the trend breaks. when the euphoria hits. So if that hits over here, you know, that beat, then the top is over here. If it hits over here, then the top is over in 2026. We don't know. I don't know. But what I do know, or what I do predict right now, it's going to be between March, you know, first, you know, a little bit, you know, first half of 2025 all the way until, you know, mid or close to ending of 2025. That is when I believe that this, you know, this bull market that start over here is going to eventually, you know, hit the target towards the upside. And the big question is right now, how high can we go? Now, I do understand that everybody is talking about, you know, 200K, 250K, 500,000, and it's posting out some crazy numbers, but you have to understand that I on this channel am not there. So I'm trying to keep it realistic, and I know I should be telling people it's going to go to 200K. It might go to 200K. I'm not saying I know how high it's going to go. I'm just trying to be you know, realistic in my expectations of what's going to happen. Previously in the bull market up here, we came to 68K. And I missed it by 68K. 69K. And I missed it by 11K. When everybody was talking about 100K, 200K, my target was actually 80K. And you can see up here that I actually missed it by 11K. I thought that this move up here is going to go and hit the 80K. The mistake I made on that thought process is that I believed in the target and not the lines, the charts, the trends. So maybe my target is gonna be up here at 90K or 100K, or what was that, 95K give or take. But I do know that once we start going towards the upside, if it's lower than that, and if it starts doing the, you know, the topping out patterns, it's down. If it goes above that and doesn't show any sign of weakness and just continues, then my target is not 94K, right? My target is not 94K. I do not want to make the same mistake I did over here in 2021, because my mistake was believing so hard that it's going to go to 80K because some lines, I don't even remember where the lines are, but there were lines, and and I thought I was being very, you know, humble about the 80K levels. I was saying 80K and everybody was like, nah, it's going to be 100K, 150K, 200K. That's when euphoria hits, right? So we're not gonna be talking about 200K, 300K. What we're gonna be talking about is the top of the channel. So that goes up here from you know, start 92K all the way up here to something like 96K, give or take. That's our target, right? This is the box up here, give or take around 90K, give or take. 90K is also very important resistance level. So these lines come from the channel up here towards the top. It's going to be very, very hard to break it. And you can see up here how nicely we have been respecting this channel towards the upside up here. And right now we're coming to that. So if we do see continuation of the respect of the channels, and the respect of the channel is when you break that, retest that, or go a little bit down, break that, retest that, something like this. If we see that the channel is being respected, if we still continue seeing that the channel is intact, then the 90K level might be just very much the target I'm looking at. It's going to happen in 2025. It's not going to happen next year. Next year ends up here in November. So we're going to have another, you know, yearly update on what's going to happen. But my target should be, and is right now, all the way up something like 90K, give or take. Maybe a little bit lower, maybe a little bit higher, depends on how these lines play out. We also gonna, once we start, you know, continuing up here, this move towards upside, we're also gonna use these, you know, pivot points towards upside and downside to try to maybe create some kind of better lines and try to figure out exactly where the top is. So, you know, the goal for 2025 is finding the top on the dollar, because that's what my channel is all about. My channel is purely technical analysis. We don't look at fundamentals. We don't care about anything else. We did look at moons for a while, but you know, the moons failed us. The only thing that hasn't failed us so far is the lines, and we gotta believe in lines. That's the only thing we have left, right? And so far, it's been playing out nicely, and we're gonna continue with that. And as soon as we start, you know, getting these pivot points and going towards the upside, we're gonna see, you know, whether this target is gonna be the case. But that is what the channel is basically about. Find the bottoms, find the tops, find the euphoria, find the fear, find the trends, find the break of the trends, find increasing in the speed of the trends, and then learn more and more about, you know, different charts. And if you like that, you might want to subscribe to my channel, because there will be. And right now we come to the third part of the video, where I talk a little bit about, you know,
the direction of the channel, what are we gonna do? Because if you've been following me for a while, you'll notice probably that I haven't been posting that much. Now, there are reasons for that, but I think I just basically kind of burned out. Yeah, you know, I've been doing, been making videos since 2018-19, and you know, through previous bull market, like daily 10 videos, stuff like that. I think I have right now 1,800 YouTube videos on my channel. And it's pretty much, you know, a whole bunch of channels. So I've been trying to find, you know, what do I like to do? What's my passion, you know? Because getting money, it's nice, but I like to be right more than getting money. Like if I'm right, I mean, money is nice. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I don't hate money, but it's not my what's called like core. I don't know what's called, but you know, the core goal or something inside you, you know, core passion. It's not something that drives me getting money, because if money was the case, I would be shilling links, I would be, you know, posting, you know, taking, you know, money to make this video, that video, because money is money. Just give me money, just money. But it's not that. I do enjoy being right about where the price is gonna hit. I do enjoy the charts. That's my thing. I don't care so much of fundamental stuff like that. I do like figuring out in the next big. I noticed that figuring out what the next big thing, or what is a good buy and bad buy, what's a good product and bad product, like that's where my passion comes in. Like I like to see like chart of Disney and tell people that this is a brand, brands don't die, it's down 90%, maybe, just maybe it might be good buy, and then look at the chart and see that that might be actually the case, and then the good feeling comes when you're actually right, that was the bottom, it goes up, the fear that people had is gone, it's through the roof, it's out of the window, right, and just continues pumping, right? So I like that. So you know, the channel might actually go in that direction. We might, you know, do coins that we believe that's gonna perform well, not perform well, but it also might go into the direction where we actually go into the stock market, because there are so many stocks, and I do enjoy talking about, you know, both oil and gold and Neo and Disney and Snapchat and Tesla and Twitter and whatever, all of these fun you know, stocks. So we might go into stocks as well, but the channel is still gonna be here. I just need to, you know, gather my forces and continue, you know, making videos and find, you know, something I enjoy doing, you know, on a regular daily basis, because just looking at the charts and telling people it's gonna go up, it's gonna, especially when this stuff is gonna go down, you just don't want to make videos and tell people bad news, because everybody hates you, right? Now I understand why Ivan Otech in the previous bull market up here, right up here, stopped making videos. Why? Because, you know, once it goes towards upside, you know, you have to, as a YouTuber, you have two options. If you know it's the top and you keep telling people it's gonna go higher, then you are a scammer, right? If you know it's top and you tell people it's gonna go higher, you are a scammer. On the other hand, if you don't know it's a top and you're telling people it's gonna go higher, then you are just like, you know, you don't know what you're talking about, right? And then if you're like me and you know it's at the top, I cannot tell people, you know, it's gonna go higher. If I believe that something is stopped out, I cannot, you know, tell people, it just feels very bad. So I have to tell people, this might actually go down, and I have to, you know, change it a little bit, you know, this way and that way, and tell people, you know what, maybe it's not a good time to buy, and so forth, so forth. And then it pumps and everybody hates me, and it dumps and everybody hates me. So in bear market, everybody hates you either way. So we just might get back into trading, although trading is not my thing. But during bear market, there might be, you know, trading streams and stuff like that, because that's the only thing that, you know, people like. So how I'm gonna do that? I'm just gonna, you know, do trading streams from here and there, you know, here and there and stuff like that. In bear market, that might be the case, because I noticed in bear market, when I did trading streams and trading this and trading that, like I was getting subs. Anything else like failed. You know, Bitcoin daily failed. Regular videos on this coin or that coin failed. The only thing that was good during bear market and consolidations is the trading. So I think the trading is going to come back. But and right now during the bull market, the second phase 2024, there will be altcoin videos. And because they just pump so much and you get so many followers. Like I went from, you know, 1,000, less than 1,000. I went from 166 to 3,000 subscribers on YouTube during the previous bull market. Why? Because everybody just, you know, it took a little, I could have probably gone even more, but it took a little while to understand what, you know, what kind of videos and what's need to be done to get, you know, that kind of, you know, subscriber numbers. And by the time I actually got that, we are all the way up here at, you know, 40K or something like that. And then the last part, I actually got most of my subs. So right now I'm not gonna do the same mistake, because this last part up here, this is where the altcoin videos are gonna play out very well on YouTube, because everybody wants to know if the altcoin is gonna go up, and we know whether it's gonna go up or down. And it's also a good time to make altcoin videos, because you can tell everybody it's gonna go up, because it goes up, everything goes up, right? And once we reach the top, then we're gonna switch a little bit more into the trading and maybe even stock market. So that's my idea about how I'm gonna move this channel forward. That's you know, right now altcoin season, market towards up 2025, then switch into the trading and the stock market and stuff like that, because, you know, it's gonna get really boring, really fearful and bloody after the 2025, the way we see it over here on the chart. So that's at least that's the way. So I'm hoping that, you know, during this bull market, I can get, you know, 30K or subs, you know, to 200K subs or something like that. If I get those kind of numbers, then it will be easier to, you know, create content, do something else, expand the TI fans club, and you know, have some kind of income on the side, because I got this day job that I do, and I wanna quit that, so I need to sell the company. And the only way to do that, number one, is to make it in this bull market, and number two, have something on the side, you know, that generates a little bit money. And I think this can generate a little bit money, so, you know, I gotta work on that. So that is the thing. And the last thing is about the TA fans club. What is TA fans club? Why do we do it? I do really enjoy and love all you guys in the TA fans club. Everybody, every single one of you. And I love my chat, because our chat is not like everybody else's chat. We got a Telegram chat group for our club. This is our community, the TI fans club community. And I do really enjoy that everybody is a little bit more mature. There are no kids in the chat. You know, everybody understands everybody, and you know, it is just a nice place to be. Although it's not very active place, I haven't been, you know, it is enjoyable place to be. And I'll continue to build on that, on the TF Fans Club. What we exactly gonna do with that, I don't know. But, you know, it's not going away. TF Fans Club is not going away. The channel is not going away. And the Bitcoin bull market is still there, 2025. Now, it was 1 hour and 6 minute video, so I do hope you watched the whole thing. If you did, hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. Stick around, because this is the place to be. When it comes to charts, at least. There's so much scams out there, guys. You gotta find a place where there are no scams. Thank you for watching. I don't know if there is gonna be outro. Yeah, we're gonna do outro. Thank you for watching. I'll see you around. Bye-bye. I probably missed something. I just don't know what. You know, I probably missed. Nah, I talked for an hour. It's enough. Bye-bye. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year. That's what I forgot. Happy New Year. And I hope the next one is gonna be even better for you. Enjoy.